Welcome to List Realty training videos. I'm Ben Garcia, the broker, and I will be going through a contract to lease, a Florida contract to lease today. So we will assume that you are logged in to your board, either Miami, Fort Lauderdale, what have you. You will look for Form Simplicity right here on the Miami board. It's at the bottom. This is where you'll find all of your forms and documents related to all your transactions. So today we're going to be going through the contract to lease. So the very easiest thing to do is just go to the library up top and just quickly choose the form. So the simpler the better. You just put in contract. You can put contract to lease, something simple like that. Okay, so you'll see if you just put that, contract to lease comes out. It is July 13th, 2017. The CL-5 is the current contract to lease. It just came out this month. Okay, so you're going to uh, populate this form. It's a very simple form. It's only 2 pages. It's 3 pages now, but the last one was 2 pages. But this one is now 3 pages. They've added a couple of things. So ordinarily, you can look up the landlord information according to the county that your property is in at the property appraiser's office if you care to put in the landlord's information. You can also get the information by going back to the home page and clicking on Realist, and that will open up and give you the options to put in the property address, and you will get the owner's name. Sometimes it's a corporation, so you want to make sure you have it right. Okay, so for today's purposes, we're going to make a faux contract. So we're just going to use John Smith as the client's name. So that is the prospective tenant. The next part is, when is this lease going to be prepared? Agree to execute a lease by what date? I like to put the same date that we are writing the contract, no more than the next day. So we are at 12:13 p.m. in the afternoon, and on July 13th, I want to have a lease by the end of the day. I want action. Time is of the essence. I want to get my client accepted and a lease prepared the same day. There's no reason it can't happen if you are firm about it. As long as you get the contract to lease signed the same day, you're in good shape. What we don't want is you chasing down a listing agent for days hoping that they received your contract to lease. You will upset the client, you will be frustrated yourself, and you'll find out at the end of 2 or 3 days that they already had another offer or what have you. So time is of the essence. There's no reason why someone can't get back to you within 24 hours with a yes, or same day with a yes if they're serious. Okay, so the landlord will prepare the lease generally. We are happy to prepare the lease if we are requested to. That's not a problem. With the intention of entering into a lease with the landlord, tenant has paid. We like to put a full month here. So we're going to pretend that the amount of rent is $2,000. So that deposit is going to go, for us, we have a title company, the Florida Title Insurance Company. And what we like to put is upon acceptance. Why do we do this? Tenants tend to get very nervous if they have given you $2,000, for instance, even $1,000, even $500. Upon writing a contract, they don't even know if they're even going to be accepted. So they've given you the money, you're required to deposit that money. They find out later that they weren't accepted. They get very nervous. They want that money back. So what we do is we put in a full month. We let the other side know that as soon as you accept this, we will be depositing with the title company. And this gives everybody a, uh, a good feeling. They're not nervous about it. Everybody's okay with it. Sometimes the listing agent might require us to put it with some other entity, their title company, their real estate company, what have you. We can make exceptions. So the property address, we're going to put 123 Main Street. Okay, we're in Hollywood, Florida, 33021. Okay, that's the property address. Please note if it's furnished or unfurnished. So this is going to be an unfurnished unit. This is important. The tenant will be used by, the property will be used by the tenant and the following persons. It's very important because there might be one person that is being responsible for the rent, but there's going to be multiple people living in the unit. It's also important if you're going to apply to a condo, anybody over 18 that is in this space will also be required to apply to the condo for at least a background screening. So it's very important. So we're just going to put two children, and sometimes I put the age so that they know that they are not over 18. You can put whatever's appropriate there. Okay, lease term will begin. We're going to have this particular lease start on August 1st, and we're going to end it the last day of the next year. Don't forget to make that change, okay? So it's the day before. It doesn't end August 1st, 2018. It ends July 31st, 2018. Money due before occupancy. This is generally going to be 3 times the rent, but the new form calculates it according to what you put here. So if you put $2,000 there, then it's going to start adding it up. Okay, so you don't have to worry about that. Last month, 2,000. Okay, and security deposit 2,000. Okay, we're going to put August 1st as the date. They're all due, even though they will be giving a good faith deposit. Now, security deposit for the association, many of them have a security deposit. Sometimes now it's equivalent to 1 month. So now you're looking at possibly 4 months due the landlord. That's a lot of money for people. So many times we're asking the landlord to put up the $2,000 for the security deposit for the association. Many of them understand that and they already have. Sometimes we put up the security deposit for the association on the tenant and we will eliminate a last month rent or one of the three so that it's a total of 3 months down. If there is a pet deposit, you will write it here in this space. And if there's anything else that maybe a key deposit or something else, it will go here. So now you see we're going to pretend that there is no security deposit for the association. We're just going to kind of keep it simple. Okay, now this spot says paragraph 2 deposit will be credited as follows. That's this good faith deposit. It is not the security deposit. This is paragraph 2. So what are you going to do with that $2,000? You can put it towards first month or towards last month, whatever you like. Okay, so we're going to put it towards first month. You do not put it towards security deposit because commissions cannot be given from security deposits. So often, if the rent commissions, let's say, is a half a month each side, that would be $1,000 each side. The title company at closing can write the checks to each of the two real estate companies from this escrowed $2,000. If you call a security deposit, they cannot, and you will have to get that written from the tenant to the two different real estate companies, or you're going to have to give all the money to the owner, and the owner is going to then have to write checks for us. So this is the easiest way to be able to disperse the funds properly at the closing, where the tenant only needs to write one money order or cashier's check to the owner, and the rest will be taken care of by the escrow agent. So the rent payments are the total rent for the entire year. So that's going to be $24,000. That's 12 times $2,000. We have no taxes here in Florida with the rent, so that's a zero there. We are not paying it in full. Sometimes you do, or you're paying an advanced rents, which will go here, okay, or advanced rents will go here for a total. Sometimes people pay 6 months in advance or a whole year in advance. But we're going to pay monthly on the first day, and the total amount is going to be $2,000. Here is where you write pets are prohibited or permitted. This is what I like to do. On this particular one, we're going to say as per MLS, pets, pets Y minus 20. And then here I put tenant has no pets. What is this saying? This is saying that pets are permissible at that location, but as per the MLS, they are pets under 20, but the tenant has no pets. So it's clear that they can have a pet if they want. They would have to go through the landlord for approval and the association. But this is a good example of how to do it when it's permitted and there are no pets. If it says yes, they're permitted and they do have a pet, tenant has a cat, has one cat. Okay, or tenant has 12-pound Yorkie. Something along those lines, okay? But you want to make sure that you put down what they put as per the MLS, so it's very clear. Smoking, generally prohibited. Here is where you would have the tenant's initial. Okay, this is not first and second initial of first and last name. This is for one tenant to put both initials and the second tenant to put initials. And then the landlord will do the same. If there's two landlords, a married couple or what have you, one would sign here or initial here and one would initial here. Utilities, condos always have water. They cannot bring meters up to each room, so we're pretending this is a condo, so we're going to say that water is included. This is utilities. Tenants will pay for all utilities during the lease term except for water. Generally, number 10, maintenance. Landlord will be responsible for maintenance and repair for the property except for, we simply write repairs under $100. This is standard. So the tenant doesn't bother the landlord with every little thing. So we generally tell folks, if you stopped up the toilet, you got to get a plumber out there for $75. You need to take care of that. If the little handle came unscrewed from the cabinets, you need to screw it back on. Things of that nature. But if your AC's down, or your washing machine's broke, or your refrigerator stopped running, contact the landlord immediately. This is new in the new CL-5. The service member status is the prospective tenant a service member as defined in Florida Statutes 250.01. In this case, we're going to say no. Okay. If yes, landlord must provide written approval or denial for the tenant's application within 7 days after receipt. If tenant is denied, landlord must provide a reason for the denial of the tenant. Generally, we get that reason that the landlords will tell us, the credit wasn't good enough or whatever. So this is now something that for service members is they have to follow this new statute. So this section 12 is now also new. So we have the brokerage firms now. So on this particular one, we'll put List Realty, which is our company, and we can just write half a month. Okay, and you find that going to the, going to your matrix, downloading the MLS. I always encourage you to use either Dropbox or Google Drive. Once you're starting a contract for a client, you should create a new folder, and in that folder the first thing you should put is the current MLS, that sheet of the property that you're making an offer on, and then you can put in the application, the credit reports, the background, pay stubs, driver's license, contract to lease, and all accompanying documents that will be necessary for this particular transaction. Renewals, this is very nice. Landlord shall pay the broker split equally. Lease renewal, lease commission equal to greater than, okay? And you can put here 5% or something along those lines of such renewal extension of the gross rent. Okay, so you can put 50% of the actual rent. Okay? Agreement listing broker shall be due upon the execution of the renewal. This provision shall provide any subsequent lease between the landlord. Many of them are putting no renewals, okay? But this is new now, so please check the MLS to find out if there is any renewal. We're going to pretend that this one has a zero renewal. This is also a new addition, the sales part in the CL-5. Okay, so you will want to put 3%, which is the standard, if the subject property is sold to any tenant that occupied. Okay, so you basically brought the tenant and the tenant has decided to purchase the property, you will get the commission for the sale of that property. It's a great new provision. Association approval, the tenant will always pay the non-refundable application fee. We generally look on the MLS to see what the fee is. Okay, in general, it's $100 per person or per married couple. There might be an additional $50 screening fee or what have you, so be careful to check. If you need, you can also call the association quickly and find out what their fees are. Okay, and then they have to make application for association approval by, I always try to give 3 days for them to do the application, because it does take some time. So if we wrote it today, we're hoping to get it back and signed and the lease back tomorrow, I would say by Monday they should have the association approval of the application rather ready to go. Additional terms. Here's where you would write anything like landlord to professionally clean clean unit. Or something, this is very common, the tenant wants to spread out the last month over the course of a few months because they don't have all of the money to move in. They're moving from out of state or they have expenses or what have you. So this is a good place to put tenant will pay last month rent over the course of 3 months beginning in month 2. Okay, and that makes it very clear that the tenant will be paying 3 months in total. They're not trying to only go in with 2. They will pay the 3 months, but they need a little time. Okay, and these terms are always negotiable. So this is where you would put anything like that. Install landlord to install a new washer, or whatever the case may be. This is where it's done. Okay, again, tenant signatures will go here. Okay, very important here. A lot of folks don't really know that this is a binding contract. If tenant fails to perform any of the promises of this contract, the deposit paid by the tenant may be retained by the landlord as agreed upon liquidated damages. It's very, very important that they know that. People go, oh, well, they didn't sign the lease, so we can get out of it. That's not the case, okay? It is not the case. If the landlord fails, their only repercussion really is that the tenant gets their money, unless the tenant wants to sue them, which rarely happens. And right here, just above the signatures, this contract is not a lease. Once the parties enter into a lease, lease provisions that conflict with the provisions of this contract will control. So if there was something on this contract to lease that was not brought over to the lease and nobody noticed it and everybody signed, you're done. That provision is gone because the lease overrides the contract to lease. But furthermore, this is intended to be a legally binding contract. This is those are the magic words on the contract to lease. This is intended to be a legally binding contract. They need to understand that so that they take it very, very seriously, okay? And they follow through with everything they're supposed to do, including applying to the association. Okay, and then you go prospective tenant, date, they sign. You can put the prospective tenant's address here if you need to, telephone and email. And again, they have to initial here. Okay, so that is a quick overview of how to do the new CL-5 contract to lease. We wish you the very best of luck in your uh, rentals and just keep doing the hard work that it takes. There's a lot of opportunity in rentals. We can't express it enough that rentals keep the money flowing. It keeps your pipeline full. Tenants, happy tenants, tend to tell all their friends, and they can turn into sales. Tenants eventually purchase. So keep working on those tenants and those contracts to leases and those leases, and you will have customers for a very, very long time. We wish you the best of luck and thank you so much. Again, this is Ben Garcia. I'm the broker of List Realty, and you can visit our website at listrealty.com.